welcome back to my channel. I know I am in a desi avatar, okay? This is really new. I've got my sindoor on, I've got my Mangalsutra on, and I'm sure by the title and by the looks of me, you guys can tell what today's video is going to be all about. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can recreate this really simple Karwa Chauth makeup look. Main goal and my main funda behind coming up with this makeup look not only needs to look effortless, but it also has to be effortless. Because listen, in case if you are fasting during Karwa Chauth, you are already dealing with so much. So when it comes to, you doing your makeup and getting all clammed up for the evening, I wanted to make sure that, you guys don't have to put a lot of effort into getting ready. So yeah, without rambling any further, let's get on to the video. Okay, so like always, I'm starting with my bare face. I only have my eyebrows on like pretty much all the other makeup tutorials. So let's start with our base first. For my base, I wanted to keep it looking very skin-like, but yet having like full-on coverage, because as you guys can see, I have a lot of redness on my face. So I want to cover all of that. So yeah. First skin prep and then we'll move on to our base. So for skin prep, I have applied my moisturizer and my eye cream, and I have nothing else on my face. For my primer, I'm going to be using this one by e.l.f. It's the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer in the original variant, and I'm using this one. It's because my skin has been feeling really dry lately, so this one will provide a really nice hydration. So I'm taking a little bit on my hand and I'm just applying it on the areas where I need hydration. So for me, that is gonna be this area and also a little bit on my nose, because I have been getting a little bit of dry patches there. So I'm going to be applying it there. Moving on to another primer. Since I have open pores on my face, I'm going to be using a pore filling primer, mainly focusing it on the centers of my face. You can totally skip it if you don't want to use like two primers, but since I want my base to look as flawless as possible, that's the reason why I'm doing this additional step. So I'm going to be using this primer by Sugar. It's their most eligible smoothing primer. So I'm going to be taking that much and I'm going to be focusing this on the centers of my face. So that will be my forehead, my nose, also this area, a little bit on my cheeks too. So now I'm going to be spot concealing my face, because you guys can see I do have certain breakouts and redness on my face. So I'm going to spot conceal so that later on when I use a foundation, I don't have to use a lot. I'm using a PAC concealer brush to just blend out the concealer. So I'm just stamping it into the areas that I've applied the concealer. I'm not using dragging or swiping motions. So for foundation, I'm using the one that I love and trust so much. It's this foundation by Physicians Formula. It's their healthy foundation and I have it in the shade MW2. So I took some foundation on the back of my hand. Now I want a little bit of glow to my face. So I'm going to be mixing this Illuminator by Ilana into my foundation. Not a lot, a little bit, so that it's going to give me an overall glow. So the foundation is nicely and evenly applied all over my face. Now moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using this one by Maybelline. It's their Instant Age Rewind Concealer and I have it in the shade Sand. So I used this concealer in my last video and I absolutely fell in love with that concealer all over again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a beauty blender, and it's a damn beauty blender by the way, and I'm just gonna go over my foundation and my concealer. So this is gonna make sure that in case if I do have any excess concealer or foundation on my face, the beauty blender is gonna absorb any excess product. So now I'm going to be using the same liquid highlighter on the high parts of my face to add a little bit of glow. So I'm just going to dot it on the areas that I need the glow, and I'm going to be using my beauty blender to blend out the illuminator. Okay, so I'm loving the glow that this liquid illuminator is giving my face. Wow, it is stunning. Okay, so now to set my concealer in place, I'm going to be using this compact powder by Nykaa. It's their all day matte compact powder in the shade Ivory. So I'm using a very detailed brush to apply my powder, because I don't want to take away that glow that the illuminator is giving me. Plus I don't want to use powder all over my face too. So I'm not going to be powdering the rest of my face because I wanted it to look really nice and dewy. But in case if you are someone who's really oily, make sure to set your foundation. Now to add some color back to my face, I'm going to be using this bronzer by Physicians Formula. It's their butter bronzer. I'm also going to be contouring my nose with the same bronzer. For my blush today, I'm going to be using this one by Note Cosmetics. I also included this in one of my favorites and I don't know why I stopped using it, but it's such a great blush. Great for all skin tones. I really love it. So I'm going to be using the DU Care 07 brush. I have made a dedicated video reviewing this brush set from Amazon. So in case if you haven't watched that, make sure you do because these brushes are amazing. Okay, so moving on to eyes, I've already prepped my eyes with the concealer that I used on my under eyes. For my eyes also, I wanted to keep this look very simple. So I'm going to be using the same bronzer that we used on my face as like a transition shade. So using the same bronzer on a detailed brush, I'm just going to be running it on my lower lash line as well. I'm going to be using this palette by Forever 52. Do not mind how the state of this eyeshadow palette because I mean, you can tell it's been loved and abused. So I'm going to be using this eyeshadow right here, which is sort of like a muted pink eyeshadow, and I'm going to be applying this eyeshadow all over my lid. I'm also going to be using the same eyeshadow on my lower lash line too. Okay, so now moving on to actual eyelid color, I'm going to be using this color also from Forever 52 palette. It's such a pretty bronzy shimmery shade. I think this is the color that will go with pretty much every color outfit that you wear. That's why I'm keeping the eye look very neutral. So I'm lightly patting it on top of my eyelid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be taking that same shadow that we applied all over our lid, and then I'm going to start blending out the edges of the metallic shade. So now that we've blended out the eyeshadow, I'm going to be dipping into this shade, which is basically a dark brown shade. So I'm going to be using that just to add a little bit more depth. So I'm first patting the color where I want the most pigment, and once I'm done placing the eyeshadow is when I'm gonna start blending it out. I'm going to be taking the same pink eyeshadow and I'm just going to be blending out the edges, going back and forth like so. I'm also going to be applying the dark brown eyeshadow on my lower lash line. I'm not bringing this color all the way in, I'm just focusing it till this part. Okay, so now I'm going to be using this nude eyeliner by Rimmel just to open up my eyes. Took the same eyeshadow, the metallic lid color, and I'm going to be running it on my lower lash line like so. Okay, so can you see how it opened up my eyes even more? You can definitely use this trick and I absolutely love doing this, where you'll see me applying a metallic shade on all over my lower lash line or only on like 1/3 of my inner corner. It really adds that pop and that extra oomph to your eye look. Okay, so moving on, I'm gonna be applying some mascara and some falsies off camera and I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so the lashes are on. In case if you guys are curious as to what lashes I'm using, it's all going to be mentioned in my description box below along with the products and the shade name used in this video. In case if you are not comfortable using falsies, you can obviously use lots and lots of mascara. So moving on to our lips now, I'm going to be using this lip liner by Kylie Cosmetics. Okay, so then for actual lipstick, I'm not going to be using a red lipstick, but you can use a red lipstick if that's something that you like. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I'm using this liquid lipstick by House of Makeup. It's in the shade Low-Key. It's such a pretty pinky lip shade. I'm not into pink lipsticks, but this is different, okay? And there you go, that is the finished makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed this really simple and easy to recreate Karwa Chauth makeup look. I hope you guys have an amazing Karwa Chauth this year. And also, in case if you end up recreating this makeup look for your Karwa Chauth, then make sure to tag me on my Instagram, or you can also send it to me on DMs. I would love to see if you guys end up recreating this makeup look on you. And yeah, with that you guys, I'm gonna take a leave and I'm gonna see you guys in my next video. Bye, Linda.